From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Russia fired 31 ballistic and cruise missiles at Kyiv before dawn this morning in the first attack on the Ukrainian capital in 44 days. Ukrainian officials say air defenses shot down all of the incoming missiles, though 13 people were injured by falling wreckage. Israel's ambassador to Canada isn't saying whether this week's vote in the House of Commons to end future arms exports to his country will actually impact the war with Hamas. Most Liberal MPs joined the NDP in backing a motion Monday calling on Canada to stop military exports to Israel for fear the war in the Gaza Strip is killing far too many Palestinians. Edo Moed won't say if that will impair his country's military, but he did say it certainly sends a strong message.
The headlines in Israel are such that people ask themselves, what happened with Canada? Why is Canada abandoning Israel? Why is Canada trying to impair our ability to fight Hamas in the darkest time?
Companies can still apply for permits to export military goods, but Ottawa won't issue decisions for the time being. Montreal will get the chance today to pay respects to Conservative icon and Baie-Comeau, Quebec native Brian Mulroney. The late former Prime Minister's casket was driven yesterday from Ottawa after lying in state there for 2 days. He will lie in repose today and tomorrow at Montreal's St. Patrick's Basilica, ahead of Saturday's state funeral at Notre Dame Basilica. The Newfoundland and Labrador government will try again to table its budget today after yesterday's plan was derailed by a chaotic protest by fish harvesters. The confrontation outside the legislature sent one protester and a police officer to hospital. The government has since secured a court injunction to ensure protesters don't block the building entrances today. Government officials were blocked from entering the building by a crowd of more than 100 people yesterday morning. 2 mounted police officers pushed their way into the crowd in an effort to disperse it before the fishers piled into a line and pushed back. Premier Andrew Furey was disappointed in the violence.
We have a budget to deliver, one that is important for 530,000 Newfoundlanders and Labradorians.
The fish harvesters have no plans to back down. This man explains they're fighting for free market conditions in an industry they say is monopolized by a small cartel of companies with too much power. And the interpreter who worked for a star player on the Los Angeles Dodgers has been fired.
Shohei Ohtani's lawyers tell ABC News a baseball megastar has been the victim of a massive theft. His longtime friend and interpreter now fired after questions arose over $4.5 million in wire transfers out of Ohtani's bank account to allegedly cover the interpreter's gambling debts to a bookmaking operation, according to sources talking to our partners at ESPN. It all came to light as that bookmaking operation is now being investigated by federal law enforcement. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, it was a 5-point night for Austin Matthews. The Toronto Maple Leafs star had 2 goals and 3 assists in the Leafs' 7-3 pounding of the host Washington Capitals. Teammate Max Domi had 4 assists for Toronto. Canada's Rachel Homan cruised into the playoffs at the Women's World Curling Championship. She and her rink scored an 8th straight victory yesterday in Sydney, Nova Scotia. The host team will face Estonia and Latvia today before starting the playoff round tomorrow. In the NBA, the injury-riddled Toronto Raptors dropped their 8th game in a row in a very lopsided loss to the Sacramento Kings. Steph Curry reached 300 three-pointers for an NBA record 5th season as the Golden State Warriors beat Memphis last night. And the Toronto Blue Jays have made a trade, sending infielder Santiago Espinal to the Cincinnati Reds for minor league pitcher Chris McIlvaine, who played single-A ball last summer. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.